Hi everyone, this video is to show you how to use the Numbers app to do your graph for the investigation 2A that you're going to be including in your lab report. Okay, so your finished graph will look like this that has 8 lines, and I'm going to go through the process with you, okay? Alright, so the first thing you're going to have to do is make sure you have the Numbers app. Download it. If you don't have it on your iPad, go to the self-service app and download it. Then you're going to go to Google Sheet and find the data that you all had collaborated on. And we're just going to take the last 4 rows of it, okay? So this last 4 rows, you're going to highlight them. So let me actually do it again. So what you want to do is go to this last 4 lines and just highlight them. Okay, so that's all we want to use for our graph. Okay, so this is showing the average from everyone's data. Okay, and that's what we're going to graph. So to do this, to copy this, you're going to do Command C, or if you hold down to this, you can get the copy button. Okay, this isn't Google Sheets, remember, because we wanted to collaborate on Google Sheets, but there's no way for you to graph on Google Sheet with your iPad. There is a beautiful way, a great way to graph on the computer with Google Sheets, but the iPad app doesn't allow you to graph, so that's where we're going to use Numbers. So you're going to go to Numbers, and when you first open it up, you're probably going to see this screen where you may not have anything in there, and that's okay. So we're going to start creating some graph here. So right below where your battery icon is on the top right hand corner, there's a plus button, so you're going to add that and go to blank. Okay, and then put your cell, select cell A2, and then you're going to do Command V to paste, okay, like that. All right, so notice that B and C doesn't have any data, so I'm just going to select B and delete. I'm going to select B again and delete because everything gets shifted over to the left. The other thing you got to do is you have to do the labels at the top. So remember that right now on the column A has the type of material that was used, but you don't have the labels that goes on the top to tell you what each of these data means. So remember the top part, or what we're doing here is the left side is showing the pH after addition of hydrochloric acid, and then the next 7 set of data is showing the pH after the addition of sodium hydroxide. So we're going to add that in. We're just going to do number of drops though. So it's going to be 0, then 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and then 30. So you're not going to need to label this next 7. What we're going to do instead is you're going to highlight it, cut it, or do Command X and then paste it here. Command V, or hold it down and then paste it. You're also going to move this column from P over to A. So that's showing that you have water, but remember that this one, because you have 2 sets of water lines now, or 2 sets of water data, you have to label it. So this is hydrochloric acid, and you're going to do the same. I'm going to zoom in here. What you're going to do is highlight the words with hydrochloric acid. Command C to copy, or you can just press the copy button there. Okay, and that's for the first 4 lines. The second set of 4 lines was with sodium hydroxide. So make sure you're spelling these chemical names correctly, because as you should have learned in 8th grade, they are abbreviations of the elemental symbols. So big H is for hydrogen, capital C, little L is for chlorine. So that's not an I, it's an L. Okay, make sure you're spelling that correctly. Okay, and then Na is for sodium, and then O is for oxygen, H again is for hydrogen. Okay, so there is a specific way to write these things. Okay, when that's done, I'm going to zoom back out. So now you're going to do is highlight all of this data, all the way from A1 to H9. And after you highlight it, you see how there's a cell action button there? Now click that and then create new chart. Right, then you're going to scroll down to the line graph. Okay, that one. Notice that this doesn't look right, does it? It's not what we want because that's not showing the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. So what you got to do is press on this again, go to edit references, and then click on the gear that's below where the Wi-Fi icon is. Change it to plot rows as series, and that looks much better, right? But then I don't like how the legend is up top where the title should be, so I'm going to just move the legend down. Oh, hold on. Oh, hang on 1 second. I'm going to make this bigger first, so you can just adjust the lines that way. Then move the legend down. Okay, now we have to fix the lines because the color coding on this is kind of randomly chosen. You see water is blue and red, and then liver is also blue and gray. So we need to make it, we have to change the color so that it makes sense. So when you touch this again, touch the graph again, you're going to get the blue, thin blue line with the circles. This is how you can change the size of the graph and all that. The other thing you want to do is when you touch it again, you're going to hit edit series. And this is where you're going to change the colors and the line, the data symbol. Okay, so first things first, we're going to change. So water, I'm going to keep as blue. The line type is going to be solid for hydrochloric acid. The data symbol, I got to add that in. So you can choose from any of these. I'm going to choose circles. But because I did circles for hydrochloric acid, I'm going to do the same for all of these. So egg white, I'm going to change to yellow. And then line type is going to be solid. Data symbol, because I did circle for water with hydrochloric acid, I'm going to do the same here. So that's going to be circle. Notice that the circle that came up is green. So I'm going to hit the back button and then change this to yellow. Okay? All right. And then you're going to touch anywhere to get out of that. And then liver, I'm going to keep it as gray. Change the symbol to circle. And then last one, buffer. This orange looks too much like the egg white, so I'm going to change it to the green color just to be different. And then data symbol will be circle, and then I'm going to hit the back button to change this color to the green. Okay? All right. Then I'm going to go through and change the sodium hydroxide ones. Water will be blue, right? Because we set it for blue before. Data symbol here, we're not going to choose circle because this is sodium hydroxide now, so I'm going to change it to a diamond instead. But again, you can choose whatever symbol you want as long as you're staying consistent. Okay, I'm changing this to blue so that's the same. Last thing you got to do is, because this is this is sodium hydroxide, change the line type to dash so it's easier to tell. So you can see that the solid is hydrochloric acid and then the dashed is sodium hydroxide. Okay, now I'm going to go through and finish the rest. So egg white is yellow, line type is dash, data symbol is diamond, and I'm going to change this to yellow as well. Okay, and then liver will be gray, and data symbol will be diamond, and gray for the dots, or for the diamonds, and line type should be dash. Then the very last one is the buffer that I made green before, and dashed, and then data symbol will be diamond with color gray. Okay, so if you got stuck at any point, oh, not gray, sorry, it should be green. If you got stuck at any point, you can pause and review or whatever, okay? All right, so that looks pretty good. Now what you need to do is you need to we need to add the title and the label axes, right? So when you select, you're going to select the graph, make sure that you have the blue lines around the graph and the circles around it. And then you're going to hit the paintbrush. So that's going to pull up kind of like the settings. So you see how here I have title, I can turn that on. And then I can change the title here by double tapping it. Okay, and then change this. Okay, effect. So remember your title can be anything, but it should show the relationship between your independent and dependent variable. The effect of hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide on, and we tested it on chicken eggs, egg whites of the chicken. So we're going to put in the scientific name for that. So you look it up, it's Gallus domesticus, egg white. And also, oh shoot, I forgot the water. And last one is also Gallus domesticus liver, but I'll just put in as liver. Oh, and one more thing. Liver and pH 7 buffer. So the last thing you got to do is make sure you put in your last name and first initial. Okay, you can change the style of this, because remember that your scientific name should be in italics. So I'm going to make the whole thing italics. I'm also going to make this a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. So that's maybe better. All right, you can change this color or whatever you want to. Oh wait, that should not be live, it should be liver. Okay. All right. So now, last thing before you're done, you need to add the axis labels. So under style, you're going to turn on axis name for y-axis, and axis name for x-axis, okay? And then you can double tap on this to get the name. So this will be number of drops, and then x-axis you can do pH. Okay, so be careful about pH, because some of you may have your keyboard set to auto capitalize, so your P may be auto corrected to be big P, but make sure you're spelling pH correctly, because it should be little p, big H. Okay, so fix that if you need to. So you might want to do big P, little p, and then big H, and then go back and delete that big P. Okay, so this is now done. You can now screenshot this and then put it into your lab report. But don't forget that you need to analyze this data. I mean, we analyzed it using the Numbers app, but can you make sense of it? Are you able to visually see what's happening? Okay, so that's another question you got to ask yourself. All right, any questions? Talk to your teacher or email me.